Hello and welcome to our education podcast. I'm Kobi and I work for Sport and Communities. We're a community interest company who specialise in youth services, from coaching, mentors and family support, and we're a training academy that offer a range of qualifications. We also offer play services. Today is our education podcast. Myself and Laura are both trainee teachers and we are here to answer some of your questions and just provide you with some extra support. Laura, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Laura and I work for Sporting Communities. I would normally lead the box size classes on a Tuesday evening with some of the children and our older clientele.
Yeah, great stuff. Okay, so this is going to be a nice and relaxed podcast. So we're just going to go through some questions that people have asked us and just some suggestions really. So first up would be like website suggestions. Do you have anything you'd like to say?
So there is a central website that I do recommend, which is pcentral.org, which can be really, really good for parents to go on and just see a couple of fun activities that kids can enjoy at home. They are educational based, so they should be, tailored to things that they might do in, their normal lesson times, but this can be done at home as well. So
yeah, it sounds really good. That's a bit like, so like, does it have online workouts and stuff like that?
It does, yeah. So if basically parents can sign up for free. It's www.pcentral.org, and it's actually quite a fun website, which there's different entry levels for different children of different ages, so you can go on and find the right resources for your particular children in their age group. I know some larger families it could be quite difficult if you've got younger and older children both stuck in the household during this time, so it could be quite perfect to find something that with a range of activities. There's lots of things online, from virtual PE resources. It's a simple, I think, a bit of a Google and of these websites could be really, really helpful for parents during this time to try and keep their little ones active and
keep everyone moving.
Absolutely. And you know what, I think being trapped indoors, just going out in the back garden and doing something fun with your children, like a small activity that you can set up for them, can be mentally really good for their mental health and their physical well-being, to bring them back inside and get them to sit down and actually do some schoolwork, which might be a challenge to get. It's not the normal learning environment.
At the minute it's like the summer holidays, isn't it? It's like, no school, let's just not do any work.
Yeah, but sadly for parents, they are having to encourage their children to do some extra, their normal curriculum and go through class, their English and everything.
Exactly.
So PE is always a good outbreak, and there's so much that you can do. There's so much variety, and it can be indoors as well, especially when, with our English weather.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's great as well, like not everyone has the luxury of a big garden either, so there's so many things on YouTube, like indoor small space workouts. All you've got to do is type it in and you can guarantee that you'll find it.
From your experience, Kobi, what kind of websites would you recommend? Is there any that you particularly use?
So for anything that isn't PE, I'd definitely go with BBC Bite Size. I feel like that's just a go-to. I used to use it when I was at school. I think it's got all the revision tools that you need. It does different levels. It goes through the key stages. So I feel like if you're ever stuck, that's your place to be. Or there's so many teachers online now. You can just find them, and so many of them are willing to answer your questions.
Absolutely.
So it's just a case of finding people, and just, I think everyone's out there to help each other. So it's just contacting people and not being afraid to just ask a question.
Yeah, I'd agree. And if I'm allowed to say, YouTube, Google something fun, and maybe a bit of a workout that your family can do all together. I know there's plenty of, don't know if I can necessarily name them, but there's Joe Wicks, celebrity. There's lots and lots of celebrities at the moment, videoing exercise workouts. We're doing it ourselves to try and keep our normal coaching going.
Exactly. We've got Mike on the case. We've got Mike and Shaq giving us some workouts.
Yeah, and I hear there's a bit of a dance routine maybe coming up from Dave. Everyone moving. So there's so much out there, and I think PE is a great one. It's it's not too mentally straining. You don't necessarily have the skills to do it or to teach it. There's just simple things you can watch and everyone can join in, which is lovely.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I think as well as that though, staying on the topic, like obviously everyone is relying on a lot of online resources, and I think it's just so important to be safe, like encouraging the young people to not stay online all day and make sure they're not talking to anybody they shouldn't be. And I think it's putting in those almost rules with them and saying, right, okay, so you're going to be online from this time to this time, and I think it just needs to be set.
Absolutely. I mean, it can be as simple as having the control over the login details for a computer or a particular website, so you can monitor your child. You know, being safe is critical during this time, because like you say, everyone is online. So they could be talking to anyone, or they could be on inappropriate websites. So I think it's really key just to keep it. I know we're all really busy at work and things like that.
Yeah,
We're going to do our own work while balancing looking after our children at home, but you know, just keeping an eye, just checking on them regularly is really, really key. So just maybe being selective with what you can share with them, in terms of website accessibility is also
yeah, definitely. It's just putting those parental controls on, isn't it? I think quite a few websites, YouTube and things like that, they do offer controls. So set up a family account, but have those controls in place to prevent your child from just seeing things that they shouldn't be seeing at their age, really. I
Yeah,
mean, this is a time where children will be clicking on random videos at random times, and it will take them down a path that they shouldn't be seeing at their age. So I
yeah.
think it's just being aware of what is going on.
Absolutely. And I think routine is a big one. If you say that you're going to go on bite size for an hour now and like focus on a particular subject, if they can be focused and enjoy that particular activity, they'll be distracted. They'll fulfill that time slot, they'll enjoy it, they hopefully won't wander. So you fix that time slot then, and then you might say, well, once school's finished, 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, then you say you have free time on your iPad. So having that structure in place can also be a way of protecting your child, because they've got that routine, they understand what they should be looking at this time, and then in the evening they have their free time on an iPad that's probably as safe.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, you have got to have that structure. Even I need to set that structure for myself. I need to wake up at the same time I would normally to go to school, like, and I even prepare myself the way I would before I'd wake up to go, I'm ready to teach my lesson. Like, you need to be ready even in these times, because you won't be able to get back into routine in the future. Like, you're just going to ruin, it's like sleep patterns. So many people I know have got terrible sleep patterns now because they've just not got to get up for work.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And what I'd say to any parent is, you know, Easter's coming up, so your Easter break's coming, and you know, you can drop schoolwork for a couple of weeks. You can have that break that you're all looking forward to.
Yeah, definitely.
And just stay focused for the next couple of days, especially this week. You've only got a 4-day week until Good Friday's coming up. And yeah, and then back into that routine in a couple of weeks' time once Easter's over, and then it's just the run until summer term. So
Yeah, exactly. Let them indulge on their chocolate and run around like crazy people and not worry about having to
absolutely,
do any
I
work.
think I might do the same.
So staying focused, like we say, I think it's a matter of just staying on a routine, following that routine. It's staying focused is such a difficult thing, and I think you've got to have a strong mentality, because you will. I think even most people will get distracted. Oh, there's a new TV show, like there's something to do that you shouldn't be doing. Uh,
Absolutely. And
you,
I do think structure and routine is key with children as you're growing
yeah,
up. So what I would suggest to any parent, if you can have a dedicated workspace, whether that be a set up table in the corner of the kitchen, or it just be your kitchen table, but when they sit down and they have a couple of hours of schoolwork, maybe in the morning or the afternoon, that they know that that's their dedicated workspace. So they have theirs, you have yours, and then you can just balance that time where you set that activity, you go away and do your own work. And it's having that balance that you're doing the same thing at the same time, so they're not distracted. So it's probably not ideal that you start cleaning the dog, I don't know, for example, whilst they're sat doing their schoolwork, because they'll probably want to come and join in.
yeah,
So doing work together can also be a really good way of encouraging them, because if they see your focus, they tend to follow in your footsteps, and they can potentially be focused because they'll be looking up to you and trying to replicate what you're doing as well as a parent, which
hmm
is really key.
yeah, definitely. I think it's knowing your child as well. Like, I know a lot of children that work well with background noise, and obviously within a classroom they've got that background noise. They've got their peers and they can bounce off each other. So maybe finding like a productive playlist to have in the background, or like even if they've got siblings, just like you say, setting that school time, saying, look, from 9 o'clock till 11 o'clock you're having lesson time, and you will all sit together and you'll all do your work. Like, it needs to be that structure.
Absolutely.
And just being creative as well. I think being creative in the ways that you do it. Don't give them a normal, just don't give them a piece of paper and say, write me a story. It's not going to happen, I don't think. I think it's being creative. So we've got a couple of ideas on our Facebook page as well, so we've got quite a few of them, puppeteer lessons and how to tell a fun story and things like that. So I think it's just finding those resources and being creative.
No, absolutely. And don't forget, the reason we're here to talk as trainee PE teachers ourselves, PE is a subject. It's, it can be put within that curriculum time, a bit of hour of fun, get yourself moving, just enjoying and having
definitely.
That's physical activity, and that is a subject, and it can be incorporated in that lesson time, which can be fun for everyone. So don't be afraid to do that, and that, you can be as creative as possible with sporting.
And I saw something the other day and I found it hilarious, and I thought that'd be such a fun idea. If anybody actually has glow sticks and is interested in teaching their child the bones in the body, sticking the glow sticks where the bones are and turning off the lights and watching your child dance with glow sticks stuck to them is quite funny.
Oh wow, yeah. Or as we've been doing at Boxercise, Kobe, haven't we? Switching the lights off, giving someone
exactly. Just having a dance with some glow sticks is completely different. Like,
absolutely, it changes the whole experience from what you would normally do PE and bright light or daylight to just having some fun in the dark with some glow sticks.
Mix it up a bit.
Yeah, I can't think of any child or any adult that wouldn't want to do that and have a bit of fun, bit of a break from sitting at a desk, because realistically we all do have to sit down and do a bit of something, but the school days aren't going to be the same for months on end now. So for parents in this situation, the realistic timescale is probably going to be 2 to 3 hours of work a day where you have to sit down and make sure they're doing a bit of school. But other than that, it's not going to be a realistic full school day.
No, I completely agree.
Not to be worried about that. That's going to be the norm. That's going to be the norm. Not everyone's going to be fortunate enough to be stuck at home with a teacher. They're going to be stuck at home with their parents who are having to work as well, which is a huge challenge in itself. So, be realistic situation and just set those couple of hours a day, and it should be a really good work-life balance for you and your family to spend some quality time together.
Exactly, and it's almost making the most of that time together. Fair enough, they need their education and they need you to teach them the things that the school has set. So a lot of schools actually have put on their websites things that they would expect the child to be looking at, so websites to use. Even like some teachers are offering you to phone in, email them across, and they will support your child with anything. But I just think at the same time, do this work, get the education, but then spend the afternoon as a family, because you don't get that time. A lot of families are really busy. Absolutely. Even doing something educational as a family, going on your walk, your daily walk, maybe finding some leaves, making a collage and doing art, just doing something together instead of just forcing that child to sit down and write lines. It's completely different.
Break. And that's why I'm a fan of those kind of subjects, and I've always turned my hand to it. That's why I'm wanting to become a PE teacher, for those kind of reasons. I enjoy that practical side, and we have to remember that our children need that break, and it's really important to create that within the schedule. Take that break. But you're absolutely right, there is the support. I know from a teacher's perspective, with running classes and things like that, we're still working from home. We're setting on online tutorials and online learning platforms for each of our classes to access. And it's really important that parents remember that support is there. We are still here to help.
Exactly.
We are still working, and we've set the work. So we're trying to just help you as much as possible. So please don't be afraid to access that, have a look at it. And if you have any questions, we're here as teachers as well. And maybe we haven't particularly set your child's piece of work, but if you do need anything, I'm pretty sure Kobe, like myself, are here happy to help. Drop us a message. Sporting communities.
That's it, exactly. Make use of the Facebook page. Like, just drop us a message and we will respond to it.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to help. It's not a problem.
So yeah, we have actually got a few questions. We only have 2 questions for our first education podcast.
Go ahead.
So the first one was, my child has work to do, but I have so much work myself. What do you suggest? And personally, I think that goes back to setting the schedule.
Absolutely. And that for me personally is setting there's a designated area. So you know, while you need to do some work, you designate maybe an hour or 2, you need to make sure your child is occupied as well and has the pieces of work to do. So it might require that you can't sit down for a full 2 hours, but just making sure that they've got a bit of understanding what's expected of them during that time scale, and just communicate with them. Don't be, I know it can be really easy to be frustrated with them when you've got work to do, but remember that, you know, they would normally be told what to do in schools anyway, so they might need your guidance, and you just say, oh, I've got a bit of work to do, so if you could get on with it. That can, you know, children do understand, even from a really early age, so just communicating with them and ensuring that they know that you've got work to do as well can be, you know, it's just family communicating, understanding one another.
I think definitely, and it's like in a classroom, a child understands that they can't have the teacher's attention 100% of the time. Like, there are other children in that classroom, so they understand you can be busy. It's just a case of waiting their turn. So if they're struggling, say they're doing an academic subject and they're struggling and they need your help as a parent, but you're in a really busy part of your work, put a reading book to one side and say, if you get stuck, move on to your reading book and I'll come over once I've finished this section.
Perfect.
Just giving them that alternative, so rather than being like, mum, dad, or whoever it is that's helping them, instead of them bothering you, they've got this alternative. They're still learning and they're making the most of that time, but they know you're going to come and help them.
Absolutely. Working independently is a skill that, you know, is always encouraged, and allowing them to work through things themselves as well. I know they need your support, but it develops their self-autonomy to be able to work on their own. And that's really important, because one day they are going to have to work on their own when they go to university or college and, you know, move on. So developing that at an early age is great. So all things will really help that during this isolating time we have at home.
Yeah, definitely. So last question was, I can't find motivation to do my work. I just get distracted by TV and games. I think we covered that quite a bit in the first part, to be honest.
Yeah, is that question from a parent or is that from a pupil?
I think it's from a young person.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Well, I think they need to switch their TV up, probably leave their phone on charge somewhere.
That's it. Just put their phone on airplane mode, I think. Put it on airplane mode, leave it in your bedroom, and don't work in your bedroom. I think that's the worst thing you can do.
Agree.
Because that's where all your distractions are. You need to find somewhere that's not got a TV, that's that's away from everything, and just zone out for just, you physically can't work for hours on end. Just give yourself 20 minutes of work, 5 minutes rest. 20 minutes of work, but don't rest doesn't mean go and find your phone and get trapped on videos online. It's just take a minute, like breathe, let your eyes rest, and then go back to it. It's go for a toilet break, go grab a water. It's not.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I don't know if some people might not have an office and the lounge can be quite distracted. So I really like the dining room or the kitchen, and it's great after everyone's had their breakfast between probably say like 9:30 to 12 o'clock is great. I think that's the best time of the day. You've woken up, you're fresh, you should be ready for your day. No one should be really coming in the kitchen as coming for a drink, so there should be very little distractions until lunchtime. And hopefully by that point you feel like you've achieved a lot. And I think as well, setting yourself a goal. If you know you're getting distracted, set yourself a goal of what you'd like to achieve that day, whether it's just an hour of maths, or you'd like to get your head around a particular part of, I don't know, an English topic. Just set yourself that goal, and hopefully if you achieve that every day, then you will feel a sense of success. You'll feel like you're doing things and you're being successful every day, and that's a really lovely feeling, especially at a young age.
Definitely, it's making that whole checklist. It's that satisfaction of ticking something off. So giving yourself that checklist, waking up in the morning or even writing it the night before, tomorrow I want to do this, this and this. Maybe set yourself 3 things to tick off. Exactly. All 3 don't have to be academic. You could have 2 academic things and one that's something like put the Hoover on. Like help your family out. Do you know what I mean? It's just giving yourself something to do, because it will be a boring time and you will eventually get bored of sitting at your PlayStations or at your laptops watching videos.
Absolutely.
So it's just doing something a bit different, I think.
No, I couldn't agree more. And another thing that I would always suggest to parents, but it's not for everybody, you know, if you are to get a child in the right frame of mind to start some work for the day, I think getting them up and getting them dressed out of their pajamas.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm in a different mental state when I'm out.
I cannot concentrate in my pajamas. Cannot concentrate. I just want to crawl back into bed and just zone out.
Separating that feeling of relaxation to the real world and how it would really feel when you're sat doing a bit of whatever it may be. And I think, you know, as they say, dress for success. To enjoy your day and make it really proactive.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's great advice. So that's all for today, I think. So hopefully you guys will send us some more questions and we can answer them in future podcasts. Thanks, Laura, for all your advice.
No, thank you, Kobi. Really enjoyed chatting.
Yeah, it was good fun. So hope to hear from you all soon, and goodbye.
Best of luck. Bye.